Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Just know that you've gone past your time, so if you look at your watches and blame it on over time, then remember what happened before that. Anyway, welcome, and it's great to have you here. Distinguished guests that covers each and every one of you. We're really delighted to have you here. On behalf of the National Research Foundation of South Africa, we'd like to say welcome to our shows. We hope that you find this meeting of use, of value, that you'll make new friends, that you'll create new networks, and at the end of the day, the system, from wherever you are, benefits from the interfacing and networking of your colleagues, your peers, and your friends. I think it's bringing Africa together, it's bringing the world together for a common purpose to share information and to look at data acquisition. Thomas Friedman, in his book, The World is Flat, indicated something about access to information. And what is brilliant about that was that because information is now accessible, a child in rural Africa can Google the name of Arnold van Zyl and find out exactly who Arnold van Zyl is. A child in the USA at Harvard could Google Arnold van Zyl and get the same information. So, in a way, the playing fields have been leveled to a degree. But I just want to caution that data and information is not knowledge. It is when that data and information is critically analyzed, is critically assessed, is disaggregated, that we begin our journey towards bringing together information, bringing together knowledge, generating knowledge, and perhaps transferring that knowledge. So within the National Research Foundation of South Africa, I have 7 directorates under RISA. One of them is Knowledge Management and Evaluation. And the NRF is a custodian of knowledge management in this country, under the government, has to ensure not just that we have data, but we have clean data, we have robust data, we have data, the fidelity of the data has to be assured. You are the custodians of that as well. Because anything you develop, if you have the wrong data, cannot translate into something significant in terms of research findings because your starting point is flawed, your data is flawed. Allow me to give you a context as to how this came about and the NRF involvement very briefly. This year happened actually in 2007 when the steering committee first met, and 2 important events occurred there. Firstly, the establishment of a national portal for electronic theses and dissertations, and secondly, the hosting of repositories of institutions by the NRF. We are happy to declare that both of these targets and both of these recommendations have been achieved to a degree. Of course, there's still plenty of room for improvement. There are lots of contestations in people making available in the public domain information on their theses and dissertations and whether or not the intellectual property has now been contravened and that you cannot publish the data. We have to look creatively as a scholarly society as to how we can broker this so that the data can still be published. But what's interesting at the moment, in the old days, when you just passionately churned that work out and you did your research, and then you developed your research paper and you sent it by snail mail, you were so glad when you got an acknowledgement card. You were so glad when you got the fact that it's now gone to the reviewers. You were so glad when they said, okay, fine, we accept your paper subject to revisions, and you religiously worked and sent it back. It was a huge, long journey. That has changed because of technology. Technology is an economic driver, but technology is also important in terms of moving from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. And therefore, it's not one at the expense of the other, but how these 2 economies coexist so that you can improve the future. So in many ways, you are the custodians of that. You will have to ensure that the data is correct, the information is correct. And in your deliberations over the next few days, I wish you very well, and I hope that you have very strong recommendations, which I'll study post to this conference. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all those people who've been involved in arranging this conference, especially Dr. Selamat Sira, one of my executive directors, who's been charged with this responsibility, for arrangements, for all of the sponsors who've come to the party in being able to come together for a common cause, and for all of you. I've looked at the topics, and there's such a nice breadth and depth of topics. You can see the passion and the desire, that comes through in those papers, the passion with which those abstracts have been written. And I wish I would be able to stay for each paper just to share that knowledge with you. So in a very short time, in a few days, you'll be able to survey the land in terms of your disciplines and your areas of interest and be able to come up to speed with that. So to all those presenters of posters and papers, I wish you the very best. You're the best qualified on that day, and you can defend it. No one knows about the pain and suffering when to get that information, and how quickly those things worked out when you're heading towards your abstract 1 week before closing date. Okay? No one knows those pains, but you know. And of course, I wish you all in that. For those of you studying towards the higher degrees, I encourage you to finish those, because as you go higher, you can contribute more. One of the chilling statistics in South Africa is only 34% of our university academics have a doctoral degree. That causes a huge block in the system, and we need to unplug that. From the National Research Foundation perspective, we will continue to do whatever we have to do in making sure that the system is not just a spectator, but the system is responsive to the needs of society. We also have a societal obligation. So thank you very much, and my very best wishes to all of you.